It is the Friday Night Live edition of Game Time. And I don't know if we're doing this because it's like we in it or it's freezing.
Both?
I think it's both.
I'm excited about the game, but I'm
Smitty's
cold.
at the point where you're tired and you roll down the window when it's cold and you're like the dog out the window just trying to stay awake. He's been on 7 hours and we just got here. Good to have you on the show. When you sit there and you talk about the storylines around the league staying in the first half, clearly what not only Doncic has done, but to me, what the rest of the team has done to support him, stepping up in the roles they have, and, of course, the coaching of Rick as well. Really entitled, great story.
No, it's been fantastic. I mean, Luka's doing things we haven't seen by guys his age, and every night's a new revelation. I mean, the other night he gets 15 rebounds in that triple-double and 17 assists. It's crazy. Tonight he's already got his season high for threes made in a game. It's Luka, and it's three-point shooting. That's what it's been. And they've been able to hold the fort without Porzingis. They're 5-4 without him going into tonight.
We are going to get a chance to talk later tonight about a game coming up on our air that the Nets will take part in. But it's really the game behind the scenes that is being played of damage control, perhaps. Kyrie naming names. Now, when, Santa named all the reindeer and Donald and Blitzen, I don't think he forgot one. Because you don't forget Rudolph. You just bring him in last. Perhaps he explained to Jared Allen, Smitty, that, no, I didn't really mean it because I like to call you Garrett Temple. You just didn't know that. I don't know how he explained this one away. He tried to kind of massage it over. But if you're a teammate, how much are you feeling like you're a teammate that Kyrie's paying attention to if you weren't named in the core that he brought about publicly?
The one thing is, as a teammate, you want to keep those things in-house. I mean, that was general manager and coach talk. That was in-house organization talk. And sometimes, I know it's the media, they have to ask you questions, but you don't have to answer in a way where you're going to offend players or also have any question about what's going on in your organization. You can deflect in a good way, Stan. Just got to try to talk about, hey, we're coming out here playing hard every day. We just want to get better and better, and we'll see what we can do when we get our guys back. We look forward to it. But right now, we have a task at hand. We're going to play hard. I'm happy to be back. But when you start talking about next year, who's going to be here and who's not, even if you're the general manager, it's not good, but especially from a player.
No, I mean, you don't think it's a way to inspire your teammates to say, hey, if we're going to take the next step, we need different guys. Come on, fellas, let's go. You don't think that's going to inspire
Roy Williams
people?
Thought that. Apparently it hasn't worked, though.
No,
yes.
That doesn't work, and especially it doesn't work. Listen, what the great players do, and we've seen Damian Lillard do this, we see Giannis do it all the time, is you look at yourself and say, I've got to be better. That gains respect to your teammates. And let's face it, Kyrie Irving's in a situation where he's on Boston. They make their run to the conference finals without him. They're not as good the next year. And in fact, last year they were better in the games he didn't play. Now he goes to Brooklyn. They're 5-9 with him playing. They're 500 without him. Like, look at this first. See if you can play better and help us win. And today he tried to make the comment, well, I'm going to always push the organization. I'm all about winning. Walk upstairs and talk to Sean Marks. Talk to Kenny Atkinson, but don't throw everybody under the bus and tell them they're not good enough. I thought it was bad. The guy's a great player. Nobody's going to question his ability. But as a leader, he hasn't been what we've seen in some other guys.
I was just about to go there. You can, Smitty, be a great player in any sport, be a Hall of Fame player, and not be a leader. There are great people that we and everyone watching have worked with, and whatever you do for a living, that are great at what they do, but you wouldn't pick them to go lead the group. Those aren't their qualities. Is it not fair to say that right now he hasn't distributed any of those qualities because it's not just the play, it's after the losses last year. I remember the comments, Smitty, we're sitting here and, about 30 shots or whatever he took, made 7 out of 30. I should have taken more shots. There's almost like a combativeness and a defensive nature that really is tough to have if you're going to lead a group.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you're on a team, the one thing you want is when you want all guys rooting for everybody. We're all in this together, even in losses. We're in this together. When you have somebody going this way and deflecting and saying what I can do, and Stan said it best, I agree, we all know it. He's one of the top talents I've ever seen at that point guard position. But what's next for Kyrie? Not just as individual, is bringing guys along, being a mentor, and also winning games. That's what all the greats do, and he has a chance to be one of the greats because of talent, but he just might not be because he can just be good because he doesn't have that next step.
Here's the other part people don't talk about, and a lot of you at home get this in your own walk of life and business, and we separate sports, Stan, unfortunately too much. Luka, last year, rookie. Ja this year. Go look at the veterans and the coach like a Rick Carlisle and how they bought into that guy, not only taking the big shots, but what can we do to help him? Let's get inspired like he is because of the way they carry themselves. They didn't have to say anything because the way they played did that. Go look at Memphis right now. You look at Crowder and those guys. They're like cheerleaders every time that they're not on the floor. How much did you see when you coached that if the best player handled himself in a certain way, his mouth didn't need to really do what the rest of his body language could for everybody else?
Well, no, that's exactly right. And Smitty knows being on teams, and Smitty was one of these guys. If your best player is on board with what's going on, from a coaching standpoint, life gets easy. Then you're just doing the X's and O's and calling plays, because once that guy's on board and he wants to do everything the way you want to do it and you're allied with that guy, I mean, who else is going to step out of line? It's really easy. Yeah, Kyrie's got to be better in this kind of situation.
And I hate to tie Kyrie, I'm going to close this out for now, we'll talk more later, back in with LeBron, but you think about the Lakers this year, and Frank, who, you know, look, you don't only have a very good coach, a defensive, tough guy. I mean, it is what Jersey is. But you've got Jay Kidd, and you've got Coach Hollins, and that could have gone wrong, right? Guys, they're trying to figure out their chemistry, too. When LeBron buys in playing with defensive effort more often than not, more than we've seen in the past at this age, how much is that exactly an example of what Stan's talking about, Smitty, the way the Lakers have bought
It's
it?
everything. When the best player beats everybody to the gym, you start to look around. When the best player is a guy is taking care of his body, he doesn't even have to be vocal. When the best player is buying in defensively, when the best player is doing all these things, it makes it easier for everybody else to fall in line. And if you don't have players fall in line when the best player is doing it, then you have a problem on your team. But I think also coaches have a problem when sometimes the best player is just giving lip service. You know, saying he's doing all this. Everybody knows when it's for real. And that's when you have a team that people want to follow, and that's when you start winning games you're not supposed to win.
Interestingly enough, Miami, I think of, we'll also get into play tonight, is almost the opposite of the situation. Jimmy was always going to work that way and was always upset the team wouldn't. He got to Miami, he's like, wow, I don't have to say anything. I got to catch up with them. You got Bam and Hero and those guys working so hard because sometimes it could be a culture, right?
Well, I was about to say,
right?
I love Jimmy Butler.
The culture.
This was in place.
Right? That's right.
Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
Jimmy just was on board the train that's already going in this direction.
For the first time in his career. I mean, every time he's gotten somewhere. No, but every time he's gotten somewhere, Smitty, he's had to worry, oh, no, they don't work like I do. He got here. He's kidding a candy store. They work like him.
They do.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say they didn't work in Minnesota. They worked in Chicago. I mean, and maybe
certainly when he first got
when
there,
he first got
Chicago,
there, yes,
when
absolutely.
it was Luol Deng and Derrick Rose and Joe Noah. So he was there before. Look, in Miami, it's just they're going to operate under their culture regardless of who you are. You know, a lot of places get a culture in place, but if the players want to go a different direction, they sort of give in to that. Miami's not going to give in to that. Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley, that's the way you're going to operate, period.
And sometimes guys just emote leadership qualities to close it. Indiana, we've talked to teammates of Brogdon this year, and he's become like the leader there without Victor on the floor, and he's a new player. But just the way he is, others wanted to follow the way he's acting.
Stan said it best, and also to add, you got Eric, you got Pat, you got that organization, but you also have a teammate down there, Udonis Haslem, at the end, that
accountability.
If he gets a little bit out of line, he has something to say in the right way, and it keeps everything going. That's all you need. Malcolm Brogdon has a winning mentality that carries on to other guys.
Perhaps in Philly, maybe still looking for their UD type, or who's that kind of compass balance that everybody looks towards. It's Stan here. You don't have to worry about that. He'll talk to us and coach us up during the break. We got more coming up on Game Time.